The Global Game Jam was created by the International Game Developers Association as a way for participants to create games and present them to their peers in the entire global community. Follow a group of students and young game designers as they attempt to create a game revolving around the 2012 theme, an image of Ouroboros, in under 48 hours.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Like, we were hoping to make an audio-focused game, but I don't know because we just don't think audio is being used enough in video games, like as a mechanic.
I definitely agree.
So
I definitely agree with that.
I don't know what all tech we have access to. That's one of my I would like to get out of just a standard keyboard screen interface. I brought Wii remotes because it's easy to get those to talk to any Bluetooth device. I don't know if they have Kinect systems for us to use.
There's all these visuals accompanying the sound, kind of like audio surf and games where everything's to the beat, the bumps on the track and the flashes of the screen.
If we did something with Kinect, it'd be kind of interesting to have it be one of those games where whatever your avatar or whatever this is going on is just constant, or the screen is just constantly moving, and you have to get something to keep going throughout it. And every mistake you make, say you hit something or you miss a jump or something, that's where those issues come up in the audio track.
Like sine curves and everything, you could essentially have two different lines going, and you have to keep to them as much as you can, like your hands following whatever they're doing. And whatever you do, though, that becomes the new line. And it as it repeats, so you have that new line, you have to, and it slowly just becomes more and more deformed and out there. What happens if they go crazy with it, or what happens if they if they actually do follow it? I guess, are we wanting pitches to change, or would we want intensity of the sound to change?
more variation would be best.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, if it's based on audio, just speed pitch.
Yeah.
I like the idea of what you were saying, how the depending on the motions you do, like the sine wave that you create, you have to repeat that again. I think that's a good idea. It's about repetition, and someone who's, say, mastered the game could reproduce it close to exactly.
I could build the song on all these separate layers, different tracks. We can kind of break down each track into some way to represent it. The main lead could be something like a sound wave. The beat could be something else that you have to do on the beat.
So let's say you have 3 people going, and there's three things. It would look a lot like the style of Rock Band, where you kind of have an area where you currently are and be going across. So you'd have somebody who's doing the curve as it's going across screen that slowly repeats and all that. Have somebody doing the beat. I don't know what that motion would be, but then that would keep going, and that would slowly change and store whatever they did previously.
Could use proximity, so if initially we're standing far apart, if we move our feet together, the proximity of those two changes some variable. If our hips get close together, or if our hands or just our elbows,
Kind of looks like a multiplayer interactive dancing game.
Yeah.
That you create the tunes as you go.
So that could be the distance thing. You would think of, and that would be how close you guys need to be.
Right, okay.
This could be the hand, you're going like that. This could be somebody, I don't know, some rapid movement, that's the beat that they have to keep, or jumping.
Yeah.
I think we should show them the path they did, show that they did it wrong, but don't show them what it's supposed to be. Personally, I like the idea of it slowly just becoming a disarray.
Yeah.
And not telling them they made a mistake, but not how to fix it.
Your first wave on top is, whatever movement you're doing to control the volume. And then after you get 2 or 3 of the cycles down, then you get the percussion in there. And then it brings the two of you working together.
And that can make it musically more interesting too.
As I say, more of a...
The idea is the track would, depending on your era, in what direction the sine wave would go up, or it would go under the desired course, and you would have a certain amount of time to try and recorrect it, or even just turn it into a new song. So it's kind of a MIDI instrument that uses humans as an input, I guess.
What do we have?
Are we doing this in the back?
Yeah.
Right now I'm setting up Unity because we're planning on using Unity and plugging in a Kinect API into it so that we can make our game with Kinect. I'm setting up the asset server so we can all work on the same project without interfering with each other's files. Once I get that set up, I'm going to be working on getting the audio working because we want to do some weird audio effects since our game is mostly audio focused. Neil's working on designing the interface for the game. He's looking into other games that are similar, other audio-based games, and thinking of different ideas that will make our game look interesting. Denver's working on setting up Unity so that Kinect will work with it. And Taylor's also setting up Unity right now. So we just started, we're putting everything together, getting into a good starting position. And after we do that, we want to just start playing around and trying to get the prototype up.
I personally have gotten accomplished getting like the Kinect to recognize like stomping, getting a user to jump, proximity between two different people, hand gestures, so like we can have like an angle that they do, so and that'll be coordinated to other values and stuff. We also integrated it with everything that everyone else has pretty much done, so like we actually have somewhat of a visual of the game actually playing, and it seems to work pretty well. Right now we're just using for like visuals just like really simple like debug code that just like draws really simple lines, and we're going to add in like a mesh that actually goes to that line and then has like blended colors to how well they're doing, so that it'll be like more intuitive and like show them how they're doing as they go, instead of just these random lines that do nothing.
So
So we're still working on, we've got the Kinect interfacing and everything. We have some simple like situational inputs. Some of them aren't implemented into what you'll see, but we've got the Kinect registering like high fives and jumps and stuff.
By messing with this stuff, it creates a path. And by going further apart, it'll mess with the center part. You can change what's going on with the actual music. So if we hold still now from what the actual path is, it's off from what was originally done.
I think there's some bugs.
Yeah, there's a few bugs that we still have to work out, but like essentially the way it works is it distorts using the filters and everything that these guys got working to edit the audio that we're actually outputting. And based on like a ton of different movements, as he was saying, so like a lot of stuff where you can mess with the beats that are outputting by like maybe with a high five, and the filters are being done with hands and so forth.
Right now I'm fixing a bug, and then after that I'll implement the drum beat and also any power-ups like the high-fiving and stuff like that. So that'll come in shortly. It shouldn't take too long because a lot of the hard work is pretty much done. So. Staying awake is the problem I foresee. We got so much work done in the first day when we were testing out the idea that I think we're going to finish and have all the features we intended from the start, which is pretty exciting. You know, normally you have to cut them out when you're making a game over such a small amount of time. So hopefully we'll get all those features in, which is cool.
Oh my god. That was beautiful interpretation of our game. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see.
This is cool, man.
That's really good.
This is pretty cool. We've got a pretty unique game idea here, and it's definitely unlike anything I've ever had to design for. So I'm pretty excited to be doing it in the first place. What we're going to see here, because we're doing a music type game, is similar to the conventions that have been set up by other music games that you've seen out there, Guitar Hero, DJ Hero, those sorts of things, where you're sort of scrolling an endless fretboard to keep time and to give you an idea of what's coming down the line, what you're going to be seeing and hearing through the music, imagery that is going to beg the user to interact with it, whether you're moving your arms around, whether we're jumping up and down and interacting with the other player. You know, I talked with everyone here, getting further into actually working with the devs, Taylor namely, to break apart my mock-ups, put it into usable assets for him so that he can, you know, move forward, drop them into Unity and get something as close to the mock-up to happen in-game.
Last night we got a lot of the kind of interface done, especially. It was all kind of put together. So we got most, if not all of Neil's graphics that he had put together, put in, as well as I had finished up putting in the markers that we were going to be using for the high fives, which I guess we'll definitely now, as long as we get to it, be using for some extra variation and movement in the game. Kind of snowballed. It started out as maybe we should think about doing something different than being on the path, and the next thing you know, we're thinking, well, maybe if you just moved, it could make it sound better instead. So instead of it being you have to follow this path the whole time, now it's more you have to move and follow the path that you're determining with your hand rather than being correct all the time because it sounds good. I think at this point it's just making sure everything gets done and we check everything off the list and just kind of make sure, check that off, get it out of the way, check it off, get it out of the way. And I think we'll be able to make it. I'm not too concerned.
I think we all got to do something we wanted to do. We ended up coming up with a concept pretty quickly, something that worked, tech that worked, people who knew how to work with it, and it all gelled.
Art went awesome, music was amazing, programming all came together. I thought it was great.
Well, I think that this was, like Denver was saying, this has been really, 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 really awesome working with you guys. Because, I mean, I might have had more time with Unity, but Denver's definitely have more time than I have with game making experience. And actually seeing people who not only make games, but they do it for a living, and to just kind of work with you guys was really, really awesome.
I really enjoyed working with everyone here. It was good to get in a group again, and normally you get used to working with the people you know or with yourself. And it's really good to meet new people and to get like a perspective on not only the design but like just to expand your capabilities. We had 4 programmers working on this, which we thought at first was going to be an issue, but that led us to do a lot more interesting things with the code behind the game, so it was a really good opportunity to try something new.
Like ideally there could have been a few other features implemented in the game, like more gesturing and moves like the high five, which were coded in but didn't make it into the final product. But you know, I think there was enough in the game for it to kind of become this tool that we envisioned from the beginning. So those extra things, they didn't add a lot to, I guess, the end goal. It was more of just extra polish. So I think in the end, it came out pretty well.